Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today on Bones Collector, we're continuing our series where Lori and I are playing our way through our board gaming library. So we're going to play a couple of games, 2 or 3 games each week, and make a video about it and pass it on to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Hey everybody, how you doing? And welcome to Bones Collector. Lori and I just got done playing a game called Wild Serengeti by Gun Ho Kim. And this game was a 2022 game, and I keep talking about how great 2022 was for board games. I would own this board game just for the box lid. That's pretty cool looking. It's one of the best looking box lids in my library for sure. And I really enjoy that, looking at that, and I've got that on display in my house here because I really like that. This game I just acquired. Lori and I played this at a convention last year. Gosh, it must have been last year. I mean, it's 22 title, year before maybe. Well, we went to a convention. This was in the hot games section, and Lori loves animal meeples, and she saw this and had to play it, and so we played it, and I thought for sure, I discounted this game as just a table poser. I figured it was just going to be a game that just had a gimmick with some pretty animal meeples and really wasn't much game there, and so that was my initial thought going into it. But yeah, let me talk about the production of this game. It has a nice box that it comes with. This is, by the way, the Kickstarter edition, which was hardly anything in it that's not in the retail. Was that is it that expansion? Oh, we got an expansion which we didn't play that came in the Kickstarter edition. But other than that, this retail looks, I think it looks just like this.
Except for those.
Oh yeah, we bought these wooden resources. So that is part of something that we added on. I just want to make you aware of that. But the game, other than that, there's all these animal meeples, and the card stock is wonderful linen cards, all of them. And this is the bottom of the box. It's got a little cardboard divider in here, and you get one of these bags to keep your animals in. The other one we got with these pieces that we ordered. And this is the Rock of Ages, and it's a cardboard thing you put together and take apart when you're done at the end of the game, and it goes together easy, right? It was easy?
Yeah. You have to take it apart to put it back in the box. That's like that thing, but yeah.
It won't store in the box. You have to take it apart. And then you have a bunch of these award tiles, I think 10 or 12 of them, and you only use 2 each game, so it changes up the game a little bit. And you don't know what the award tiles are because they're face down until you get to that particular round in the game. They start the game out face down. But they're thick tiles. Again, the card stock is all thick. These animal meeples are gorgeous. I mean, they're really cool looking. This game has an amazing table presence. I love looking at it. And you get a stack of cards. Is this all the cards? I think it is. So this is how
yes.
This is how many cards you get in this game. I didn't look how many, but I mean that's a big thick deck. Those are the scene cards you're going to complete as the game goes on. And again, all linen card stock. So a wonderful production. The board lays flat. It's nice looking. This action selection board is nice looking. So you got 2 boards here that come in the box. I mean, you get a lot of stuff in here. And I really enjoyed looking at this game while we played it. I traded for this game. I did not purchase it. I traded my copy of Heat from Days of Wonder for this game. Now, Heat is a racing game that we had acquired, and in one of my videos I talked about it, that we owned it. I hadn't played it yet. Well, lo and behold, we played it 3 or 4 times, and we just didn't care for it at the 2-player count. Heat by Days of Wonder is a wonderful game. Racing game, has a cool card mechanic for racing that's quite different than anything else before it, and it was a fun game to play if you had a lot of players. 95% of our gaming is done 2-player, and we just wouldn't have the opportunity to break that game and put it into a sprint the way it needs to be, and we just decided, hey, we're going to get rid of that game, and we got on Board Game Geek and on the Geek Market and traded a guy. He had the Kickstarter version of Wild Serengeti, and Lori loves this game, and so we decided to get this game, and we just got it a couple days ago and got it to the table today and play it, and we absolutely had a great time doing it. Now let me tell you a little bit about this game, and you're going to be building patterns here on the board with these animeeples. You have an action selection board here that has 8 actions on it. Each action has 2 spaces, so that when you're putting your documentary camera, that's your action selection avatar, you're going to select one of these 8 actions, and each one of these spaces has a cost associated with it. Now when you choose one of these actions, you can choose that action again, but you have to move to the space that costs more, which would be $2, if that's open. Naturally, you're going to go to the cheaper space if it's open, but if it's not open, you'll have to go to the $2 space. And then again, if you've used that action at the $1 space and nobody has put their documentary camera on that particular action space for $2, you can take that same action 2 times in a row. You just got to pay another $1. And money's pretty tight in here. You start out the game with $6, and on the Rock of Ages, as you move this toucan around, it tells you how many dollars you get to start each round. You start out with the first 3 rounds with $6, and the last 3 rounds are $7. And the game lasts for 6 rounds. So that's how you get your income. This is the second time we've played this game. And I got a feel for it a little better this time, and there's just a little more going on than I really gave this game credit for. And as you're playing this game, you're simply going to be selecting these actions, and some of the actions are like this. You're going to go to these 4 sections of the board, and you have these animeeples sitting here, and you're allowed to take one of those and place it somewhere on the board in whatever terrain you wish. And there's marked terrains differentiating the squares. So you have water, fields, and mountains, and trees. And so you have 4 different terrains out here, and you're going to place those animeeples where you want them to start completing these cards, scene cards that you have here. And you can see Lori put hers away before I told her, hey, we're making a video. So she put hers away. But I left mine here, and these are the cards that I completed during the game. And you can see all these have the heart icon on them, and the hearts that you score depends on how many hearts you have. I had the max 10 hearts. I scored 50 points for having all those hearts. So that's the type of thing you're going to be doing here. And then there's other set collection. I'm not going to get into every aspect of the set collection and engine building part of this game, because this is an engine builder. I did mention also that this is an action selection, end game bonuses, pattern building, engine building game, and the winning condition is most points. Some of these scene cards you're going to complete, they're going to give you things that will help you during the game. If you get food, which looks like a big hunk of meat, it's these things here, these food tokens, and when you play one of those, you can play them anytime during your turn. You can move one of these animals 1 space. If you have 2 of these, you can move one of those animals 2 spaces. If you have 3 of them, you can move an animal 3 spaces, and so on. If you have 3 of them, you can move 3 different animals 1 space, can't you? So you can use those at the beginning, in the middle, or the end of your turn. And then also you can get these black square tokens. They're virtual effects tokens, and you can use them to ignore terrain for your animeeples on the board. So if you have an animal that's in the wrong spot, you can play that token and make it the right spot and be able to complete that scene card. And that's what you're doing in this game. And then you keep track of it here on this board, the rounds and the income. And then when you get down to the 4th round, it has a picture of these antelopes jumping, and that means that there's going to be a great migration, because at the beginning of the game, the first round, actually, you're just going to be placing animals out here, trying to get them in place of the pattern cards you happen to have in your hand. And you'll have a hand of cards. You start out with 4. You deal each player 8, you choose 4, and the rest go in the discard pile. So those 4 cards will be your initial hand of cards, pattern cards, that you're going to try and complete those patterns, and put those underneath your little bar here that you're using in the game, and put those cards, stack them underneath there by their icons, so that you can keep track of your set collection going on. That gives you a strategy. You also have specialists in the game, and I would use these. You don't have to, but it really makes the game a lot better. And these specialist cards give you a specific direction in the game, and it's something that you will definitely do, because it's so many points. All these specialist cards, like for instance, this adventure specialist that I got, if I completed 14 or less cards during the game, I got 35 points. That's huge. So I would not ignore that. I just would not ignore that under any circumstances. And it has, if you complete 15 to 17, you get 20, 18 to 19, you get 10 points. But that 35 looks so good to me, I just went for the 14 cards. And I completed 14 cards. And so the whole last round, I didn't want to complete any cards. The only thing I did was make Lori play defense. What he did.
Yeah.
I kept moving animals that she would move, and then she caught on to what I was up to, because I already I already had all the cards I was going to complete, and so she was playing defense all the time, and I was trying to move animals around where she couldn't complete her cards. So that's, you can get this game, that was a little mean. So that card forced me to do that. But she had a card that if she made a set collection of these icons, certain icons on her cards that she was completing, she would get 15 points for every set she made. She made 2 sets, so she got 30 points. She almost had 4 sets, just that close, and that would have been 45 points, and that would have been huge for her, and probably would have won the game. The game comes with player aids, 4 of them, 1 for each player. One side has an icon guide on it, the other side has a description of the actions you can take, free actions, and round prep.
If you can read microscopic tiny print.
The print is tiny because this is just a playing size card.
Yeah.
This is a regular playing size card, so the print isn't large. And I don't know why, I wish, whatever.
Yeah.
I would like it, I always like bigger cards that have print on them, but I don't always get my way. And let's see what else I want to tell you about this game. Oh, during each one of these rounds, the last 3 rounds, you see this elk hopping. I was getting to that. Not only is there an award tile there that's going to be scored, but when you see that elk jumping right there, then you're going to do the Great Migration deck. And what that is simply is you'll draw a card off the top of that, and it has squares on there that you must take the animals off and put them back into these selection areas. So once you do that, it clears some of the board off and ruins somebody's plans, I guarantee you. And that's the Great Migration cards. And it's fun. It's just fun to be, because at the end of the round, when you know the last 3 rounds, you're going to have a migration card, so you want to get, in those 3 rounds, the 4th, 5th, and 6th round, you want to make sure you're completing cards before the start of the next round, because animals are going to be coming off the board. So it's going to mess with your plans. The first time we played this, it was a lot of moving animals that someone else had moved. And I don't know why that was, but this time it was not that at all.
Not till the end.
Yeah, till the end when I didn't have any more cards that I wanted to complete. And then you also have these wooden locks that go on the board, and that's to block off spaces. And I don't know, it would be pretty chaotic to have more players, but it might be fun. I don't know, I wouldn't mind trying this at 3 and 4. I enjoyed it at 2 though. It's again a wonderful game to look at on the table, and it's a lot of fun to play. And these animals are just indescribably cute. These antelope and zebras and an alligator and a hyena and the rhinos. And then once you start collecting a lot of these icons, these award tiles like Lori got, you must have gotten 35 points off these. You got 20 on one and at least 10 on the other.
Probably.
And I got 0, so I didn't have any animal icons.
But he still won, so don't let him cry too much.
Yeah, so I got 35 points for my specialist card, and I collected 10 hearts for 50 points. And that's 85 points right there. Yeah, that really did well. And then the rest of my cards were just point cards that I completed, scene cards that I completed. They just had points at the bottom. But yeah, that's the basics of this game. It reminds me, if you like Cape May, if you've played Cape May, it has that kind of feel to it. Freshwater Fly, the fishing game, Cold Water Crown, where the production and publishing job of the game is very high. It has some fairly simple mechanics, and the game is very fun, and that is this game. It has enough to keep your head spinning a little bit and how to work this pattern, because you want to be efficient at it. It's kind of like a pick up and deliver game where you want to be efficient in where you move. You know, the pick up deliver, you ever played Oracle of Delphi, you want to try to complete more than one thing when you move. You know, you want to go and when you're moving and pick up and deliver and be as efficient as you possibly can and can pick up things and deliver things more than one thing as you're doing it. And what's the same with this? You want to look at the board and see where these animals are and ask yourself, I mean, what can I make out of this mess? Are there animals already on the board that if I make one move, I can complete one of my cards? And there's a display of cards. One of the actions is to take one card from the scene card pool. Is there a card here that's complete already? Wow. So, because you can do that. You can like take a card from here and you're like, oh my God, that card's done. So I'm going to spend one of my dollars, take this card, boom, it's finished. Wow, that's pretty cool. So you're trying to be as efficient as you possibly can in moving these animals around. You don't want to just be plopping them anywhere, trying to literally complete these scenes that you have on the card. Some of them are inline scenes. Some of them have to be on certain terrains. These had to be on certain terrains. These had to be adjacency cards. So there's different ways and different cards and different ways you have to complete them. But you want to do that with as little movement as you possibly can, and that's how you do well in this game. We were very close in scores, and I found some things in this game that I didn't know existed the first time I played it, and I can't wait to play it again. I mean, I can't wait to use another specialist, because that's, to me, was the fun part. You get that specialist, and then you try and weave your whole game into this specialist card, and that's pretty cool. Now, the expansion that came with it, and I think you can buy the expansion. If you got the retail game, I think you can buy the expansion, and you get a bunch of cards, yeah. So you're going, with this expansion, you're going to get one of each of like 9 animals. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 animals, and they're cool, man. There's a hippo, a water buffalo, a snake, an ostrich, a baboon, a warthog. I don't know what kind of bird that is, and a bird, and some kind of a that looks like a leopard of some sort. So that's pretty cool. And with those 8 animals, you get a deck of cards, and there are specialist cards that have to do with those animals. So you get a deck of cards that also are in that expansion, but you can purchase that, and I would suggest it too. Hey, I like this game. I make no bones about it. It's going to get played more than Heat would have in our house, because, well, racing games with just 2 players don't generally work. We do have...
Well, you use dummies in that race, but it felt fiddly.
Yeah, it had a mechanic where you used Legends. It was called a Legends mechanic, and you had other cars that a deck of cards moved around, or some rules that had for movement for those cards. But it got to be tedious doing that. I don't want to move some of those cards in between our turns. I just, yeah, it was a good game. Like I say, if you have more than 3 or 4 players, hey, it's great. You know, even I think it plays up to 8 maybe.
Play 6.
Was it 6?
Then there's space for 2 more cars, so I'm sure there's an expansion coming.
But the game was a lot of fun if you had enough players. But for 2 players, it just wasn't all that.
It does feel like you're racing. I mean, I liked it. You're shifting and going around corners. I mean, it was fun, but it just...
It's pretty cool. I wasn't that fond of the graphic design of it either.
Yeah,
but
this wasn't for us.
The rule book is very nice, and it has a solo, I forgot to mention, it has a solo game in it, and a cooperative game, so that's pretty cool. So you can play this 3 different ways. Solo, cooperative, and competitively. And so that's kind of neat that they went to the trouble with that. So anyway, that's it. That's all I want to say about Wild Serengeti. Again, it's a light game for people who play board games. This is light, but there's enough in here that makes you want to come back and revisit the game, not only because it's beautiful, but because it's fun to play, and that's why we play board games anyways. So please take a second and hit the like on your computer or on your TV or your phone or whatever you happen to be watching us on. It's so appreciated. I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Please comment on the video. Let us know if you've played Wild Serengeti, what you think of it. Maybe it wasn't for you, maybe it was. I only tell you about games that I think are very good, and Wild Serengeti is one of those. Thank you for tuning in, and I love every one of you. Make sure you keep on board gaming, because it's the best hobby on the planet, because of games like Wild Serengeti, and that's a cool looking cover, isn't it? I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, how you doing? And welcome to Bones Collector, the board game channel that focuses on senior citizens and board gaming. Today, Lori and I just got done playing Wandering Towers by Kramer and Kiesling. It's a 2022 title, according to Board Game Geek. I don't think you could get it in the U.S. Before this year, so we're calling it a 2023. And it's by Capstone Games, and it is a 2 to 6 player game. Hand management, memory, push your luck elements, and the first one to have all their wizards and ravens keep is the winner. Let's talk about the publishing of the game. Again, it's by Capstone. You know, your regular old flimsy box. It's kind of no big deal, but I would think they would do better nowadays. And then this is the box that you get, because all these little towers have a spot that they go in the box here. So it has a divider, which is pretty cool. And some of the components. There is a lot of components in this game. You know, enough potions and wizards. Potions and wizards for 6 players, and you get a die, which we replaced with these dice, because this way each player can have one. The game just comes with one wooden die. That's really all there is in this box. Gee, what can I say about this game? This game is outstanding.
It's memory.
It's a memory game.
Memory.
And it's definitely going to be in my top 10 games for 2023. Where it will be, I don't know, but this is brilliant. And it's by my favorite board game designers of all time, Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling. And I enjoy so many of their games. We have so many of their games in our library. And whenever I hear about a game that they're doing, I seek it out. I've been looking for this game when you couldn't get it. It was just in Europe. And I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. And it is, let me tell you. And it would be more chaotic the more players that
I can't imagine playing this with more people.
It's fun at 2, but 3, 4, 5, 6 players.
I'll have to try it sometime.
I don't know, 6 players would be insane. Because what you're doing is you have your color of wizards here, and they start out the game on towers kind of like this, and however many players there's going to be, you're going to have all these wizards on these towers.
There's little lights on each tile that tells you how many wizards go on that tower when you play with multiple people. With 2 players, there's just 2 on every tower.
So the game kind of starts like this, and you have these spell tokens, and I didn't talk about this is an interlocking board that you're going to be moving these towers and wizards around, and then you got these spell tokens that are, you know, thick regular token stock, and those spell tokens you can use to break the rules. And here each player has 6 of these potion bottles, and you have to have those filled up before you can even win the game. So that's something you have to focus on when you start this game. One side it's empty, and the other side of the potion bottle, it shows it being full. You have to have those filled up in order to even win the game. And the way you do that is by moving these tower pieces and covering up other wizards. If you cover up a wizard, you get to turn over one of these potion tokens to its full side every time you do that. And so you're thinking about that right away, because you can't even win the game if you don't have all those turned over.
We did that the first game. We were in such a hurry to get everybody in Raven's Keep. We couldn't get our potions turned over.
Yeah, and so you're pushing your luck a little bit. I mean, you want to kind of put, if you get the opportunity to put one of your wizards in Raven's Keep early, you have to ask yourself, well, I'm going to do that, but in a 2-player game, those wizards, only 10 wizards. So you're trying to cover them up in order to get these potions turned over, and it's a real push your luck system, the less players that there are. Now, if there's 5 players out here or 6 players, there's a lot of wizards, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to cover up wizards as you move towers. In a 2-player game, man, you got to really, you're really pushing your luck if you're throwing wizards in Raven's Keep. Every time you put a wizard in Raven's Keep, it moves to the next open spot with that icon on it, on top of the tower. So it would go here.
Or the board. The board has
Or the
some
board,
spots
yeah, and the
too.
board has them on also. So that's part of the game in this situation here, where you have wizards getting ready to go into Raven's Keep. Somebody drops one in, and all of a sudden this tower has to move all the way over to here. So everybody's further away. So sometimes is it the dice?
Yep.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll find that it's better to stay in one place if there's people putting wizards in Raven's Keep, because it'll come back around and save you some movement. So you're thinking about that also. But the brilliant part of this game, and the hardest part about it, is because you are forced to cover up wizards in order to turn over your potion tokens to fill them up. You have to do that in order to even win the game. Then when you do that, those wizards disappear, and you have to remember where they're at. And
Which I'm not very good at.
even in a 2-player game, it was so hard, because let's see, I put one in, and you've got things that look like this. Where are they? Where were my? I've got 5 wizards. I've got 2 in here. Where are my other 3? You have to remember where those are at, and try to remember. And you won't be. I mean, with more players, this would be absolutely criminal to try to remember. If you don't like a memory game,
Yeah.
you probably won't like this. But
It's a lot of memory.
It's a brilliant
But
mechanism.
it's a lot of fun too.
Now you're using cards to move. You have a deck of cards. It's all linen stock, by the way. And each card has 2 halves. You may have nothing on one half and something on the other half, or some of them have something on both halves. So you're going to be either moving towers or moving wizards, and that's your only options. And it has a number value on the card and whatever picture that goes to, that's the number value you're allowed to move on that particular item, either the tower or the wizards. And it also has cards in here that have pictures of dice on them. And when you have a card, come on dice, where are we at? When you have a picture of dice on there, you have to roll this die and take that value, and that's what you're going to, and you have to declare, I'm going to move the wizard or the tower, and roll the die, and you have to move that wizard or that tower, that number that's on that die. Now, some of the cards in here have a picture of 1 dice, some of them have a picture with 2 dice, and some of them have a picture with 3 dice. And what that means is when you roll that die the first time, you don't have to take that value. If it's showing 2 or 3 dice, you can say, I don't want that value, and you can roll again. And if it only shows 2 dice, that second time you roll that dice, you have to take that value and apply it to whatever you chose, either a tower or a wizard. And then if it has 3 dice on there, you can have three options. But the third time you roll it, you have to take that value, and so you're stuck. So it's a little bit of push your luck there too. You know, do I want to keep rolling, or do I want to suck it up and take what I rolled the second time? And so you're thinking about that push your luck element. You know, can I put some wizards in Raven's Keep and still have enough wizards out there to cover up to start turning over these potion bottles? Again, the more players there are, the more wizards are going to be out here, and that would be easier to do. But in a 2-player game, you're definitely at the beginning of the game focusing on covering up some of the. But we did this particular game, start dropping them in early, and taking the chance that we could turn over our potions. And when you've put 2 wizards in Raven's Keep and you've only got 3 out here, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've only got 3 potions filled up. I need to fill the other 3.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. As those potions fill up, it unlocks these magic spells in the middle of the board. And you can use those anytime with full potion bottles. And they have different values on here, 1 potion or 2 potions. That's all they are, either 1 potion or 2 potion. And they break rules of the game so that you can help yourself. And I got caught at the end of the game here. Lori really pulled a good move. I was right in front of Raven's Keep, I mean just 2 spaces away, and with my last wizard, and she used a potion to move that tower, or she used a magic spell, excuse me,
Yeah.
a potions and a magic spell, spent potions, moved that tower ahead of Raven's Keep, then played her card and put her last wizard in Raven's Keep and won the game. That was a brilliant play. And that's what this game is about. That strategy. I mean, it seems like such a simple game on the surface, but man, I'm telling you what, it is so much fun, and it's so brilliant by designers who do brilliance for a living. And that's why I tell you guys, you know, great board game designers are hard to find. Kramer Kiesling, great board game designers. Michael Kiesling's my favorite board game designer. I just love the simple complexity of their games. This game will hurt your head a little bit as you try to remember where your wizards are
It's
at.
the memory part. If you don't like a memory game, do not play this game.
How to spend your potions wisely, because you only have 6 of them. And some of these are 2 potions to do. And she's just a pest today. I don't know what Biscuits is, what the problem is. She's really being she knocked the cards over earlier.
Yeah, she's not behaving
She's not,
today.
yeah,
But she's a kitty.
She wouldn't put her box up there. Maybe she can. I don't know. Yeah, she's gonna smack some towers around here. But just the brilliance, and then you're trying to weave into that using your potions conservatively in order to use these magic spells to help yourself out. And again, you've only got 6 of them, so you don't want to, you know. I mean, I spent mine up, and but I thought I had won the game. I was 2 spaces away, and I had the card in my hand. To move a wizard 2 spaces, I was in Raven's Keep, and Lori moved the daggone tower. Oh! So this game is a little bit cutthroat at times. I mean,
He beat me the 2 games prior to that, just so everybody knows that. I won 1 game out of 3.
Yeah, we did play it 3 times. We played it 3 times the other day, and then 3 times today. And it's a pretty addicting game because you can get it done quickly.
It plays quick, and you just want to do it. He beat me twice, and I'm like, we're doing it again. I just want to keep playing.
You just want to have fun with this game, and that's what board gaming is all about. And it's just a brilliant mechanism. It does have a memory element to it, And I usually don't like that, but it's not. You've only got 5 wizards, so and you think, boy, that would be easy to keep track of them. But when people are moving these, it's like that guy in the streets with the magic shells. Which shell is the marble underneath? Yeah, after they spin around a few times, you're like, I don't remember.
And you'll lift up a tower thinking you're under there, and no, it's the other guy.
Yeah.
Fine.
And I've gotten to a point in the game where I'm moving towers just to look for my last wizard, and you hope somebody else will uncover it and help you out in that regard. But man, the game is just fantastic. I mean, it's what you expect from these guys, and the first person to get all 5 of their wizards in Raven's Keep wins, providing you have all of your potions filled up. And man, that's just a brilliant little game. Brilliant little game. I mean,
it was a lot of fun. I really like this one.
This one, I mean, if this would definitely be, if this doesn't win Spiel des Jahres, I don't know what should.
I mean, you can just sit and play it and play it and play it and play it because it's quick.
And it's something you can teach everybody very quickly. It's a great family game, and yeah, it'll frustrate you at times for sure, because you're trying to use these cards wisely, and you're trying to use your potions that you've filled up to buy spells and use those wisely, and you're trying to remember where in the heck your wizards are at on this track, on this board.
Or you get cards that have nothing on them but wizards, and you don't have any wizards visible. Yeah. So it's like, well, now what do I do?
It can be a pretty frustrating game, but again, I expect this kind of game from these guys, and as soon as I hear they have a game coming out, I'm all over it. And they are great board game designers, and this is no exception. Gosh, you guys, if you like this kind of game where you sit down and play for 30 to 45 minutes and really think hard, because again, that memory element of where your wizards are at in these towers, you think it's apparent because you only got 5, but it isn't that clear. Yeah, so sometimes you'll get caught not knowing where they're at, and then you're in a hole and you have a hand of 3 cards, and you are saying, well, which tower do I want to unbury? I mean, where did I last see that wizard? And you'll spend a card just to move a tower so that you can find your last wizard, or one of your wizards even. And that's really a lot of fun.
You used a spell to pick up a tower.
Yes.
And hope you find a wizard under it.
And I actually did.
You did, yeah.
That was close.
If you find a wizard, it goes on top of the tower. But if you don't find a wizard, you just lose your potions.
You are being a pest today, little lady.
Well, she just wants to play. Look, there she is.
She wants to just be a pest today. Get in there and go to sleep. There you go. All right. Okay. But anyways, I wanted to tell you about this game, and games like this I just adore. This is a game that you keep in your library forever because it go ahead. It never gets old, never gets dusty, it never gets stale, and it's different every time you play it. And again, it's very fun with 2. Don't get me wrong, but man, with 3, 4, 5, 6 players, this thing would be chaotic.
I'm kind of excited to play this with multiple players.
Yeah, I think it would be hilarious.
Because the rules are simple, so anybody can play it.
I mean, this is a game that would make you laugh, because just when you got a lot of players and you're doing it, you're like, oh my gosh, where are my wizards? Yeah. You know, it's
and
so
just
crazy.
When you find them, somebody covers them up.
Oh my gosh, it's too cool, too cool. And yeah, this is going to definitely be in my top 10 for the year, as I knew it would be before I ever owned it, and I finally got a copy of it. And yeah, I wanted to tell you about it. Hey, listen, take a second if you would, and give us a thumbs up on your TV, your computer, your phone, whatever you happen to be watching us on. We're so blessed to have you watch our channel. We love every one of you, and please, whatever you do, keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet because of games like Wandering Towers by Kramer and Kiesling. And we'll see you the next time on the Bones Collector. Bye-bye. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Bones Collector. Today on Bones Collector, we're going to talk about a game called Chicken Cha-Cha-Cha. Chicken Cha-Cha-Cha is an old game. It's from 1997. It's designed by Klaus Zoch, Z-O-C-H, for 2 to 4 players, and it's a memory game only. I mean, this is just a memory game like Concentration, the old Concentration game show on television. And the first person to capture all the feathers of their opponents wins the game. And it's a wonderful production, a great box, nice thick tiles, these big chunky wooden chickens. and there's nothing to this game, but it's fun, and that's the point. You have a track with images that these chickens are going to set on. If you haven't played this game, and each one of these egg-shaped tiles has an image on it, and it has a matching image on these face-down tiles in the center of the table. In order to move in this game, you have to find the image that's ahead of you, just one space ahead of you. And this, the naked color chicken, has a picture of these flowers as his next space. You got to find that in this grid. So you're going to turn these over on your turn and say egg, and you have to show everybody what's there. Egg, fried egg, and then you keep looking.
No, your turn's over.
Yeah, your turn's over. But I mean, on your next turn, you're going to keep looking until you find those flowers. So players take turns trying to move around this grid, this egg-shaped tiles, and you have to uncover this tile in the center of the board that matches that icon for you to keep moving these spaces. And once you get to the point where you're memorizing where those are at, then you can move quicker and try to catch and pass the opponents that are on the track. And once you pass them, you take their tail feather out and you put it in your chicken. Ha-ha! Now I've got two, and I'm going to keep going after the... And so players are just moving around this track until that happens. So one player is so good at memorizing where these tiles are at that you just keep on... Because if you select that tile right there, and that's your next move, boom. Now you get to... If you know where the caterpillar's at, boom. You know the caterpillar's at, you move another space. And you can just keep... You can see how this works. You just keep going if you know where these are at. And so we kind of set this up in a funky grid a little bit so that it's not so easy. But my grandkids love this game. And we keep it.
The youngest one beats us every time.
I mean, yeah, they beat the tar out of us just because they're young and their minds are not as filled with garbage as ours are. So they beat us to death in this game. But they still enjoy playing it, and they're teenagers. And I think that's a testament to how fun this game is. You set it up, you play it, you set it up, you play it, you set it up, you play it. It's just so much fun. And we keep it in our library for that reason, because our grandkids enjoy it. And we like to play it once in a while.
Even with the two players.
Yeah,
we play it with two players.
This is great for senior citizens who are feeling like Alzheimer's coming on. It's a memory game. Like the other one we showed you, Wandering Towers, has a memory element. And we were talking about it, Starship Catan also has a memory element. It's 4 decks of cards, and you're trying to remember
what's in those decks.
What's in those decks when you're taking your turns. That's a memory game also, Starship Catan, but on a different level. This is a very simple game, but it's very fun. These tiles are thick, chunky tiles. These pieces that you move around the board are awesome. And it's a game worth owning, let me tell you. Chicken Cha-Cha-Cha, we enjoy everything about it. If you invite people over to your house that don't play board games, and they're interested in board games, you want them to have fun. That's the whole point of playing board games. So you get out games that you can explain in 5 minutes that they can beat you at. You want them to win. And even if you throw the game, you don't need to say you throw the game. I mean, let other people win the game. If they don't play board games, you want to let them have a positive experience, so let them win, and figure out how to play the game. And even Wandering Towers would be a game you could probably explain pretty quickly to people and have them play things like that. But I like games, and I love games where you can explain it in 5 minutes, and the person you explain it to, even though this is their first time, they can beat you. Because it's a simple game, and where the rules are made so that anybody can win that game. But I like games like this, and don't think, I mean, there's a lot of people that would be embarrassed to talk about Chicken Cha-Cha-Cha, but not me. I really like this game, and we saw it. It was on a sale one time, and Lori looked it up, and she said, hey, you gotta take a look at this game. I think you would like it. I think we'd like this game. And I said, Chicken Cha-Cha-Cha, are you serious? She's like, yeah. So we looked at it, and I said, wow, let's get that. But lo and behold, we missed the sale.
We did.
And I had to wait for another opportunity, which we got, and was able to pick up a copy of this game. It's a wonderful game. Again, if you have young children, if you have young grandchildren, or if you just want to have a good time with friends and play a game that's silly, this fits the bill. I mean, it's an outstanding game.
And you can have wide age ranges of people too, and you don't have to have a handicap for the younger players because they're probably going to win.
They'll probably beat you. The older you get, the worse you're going to be at this game.
Yeah.
That's right. Because I've got Mickey Mantle's batting average, career lifetime batting average stored up here. Yeah, and so there, I can't remember where the fried egg is because I've got that stupid piece of information that's worthless in my head. So yeah, the young kids are going to slaughter you at this, and it makes them feel good, and it lets them have some fun, and that's the whole point of why you play games and board games like this. Get them off their telephones, get them off video games, and play something fun where you can all have a good time. Chicken cha-cha-cha. Hey, I love every one of you guys. Thanks for watching our channel. Please take a second and give us a thumbs up on the video. And subscribe, please. Get other people to subscribe and share our videos, please. We appreciate that very much when you do that. And please keep on board gaming, because the best hobby on the planet, yes, because of games like Chicken Cha-Cha-Cha. I don't care what anybody says. Play this game, you'll love it. See you next time on The Bonus Collector. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, that was a couple of games out of our library. And thank you for those comments, and please keep them coming. We'll try to get back to you as often as we possibly can. I love every one of you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll try to get them out as soon as possible. Bye-bye.